Hi everyone, welcome back to the second recitation recording. Today we're going to be doing Intro to HTML and number conversions. Okay, so let's get started. So we're just going to do a little bit review about computer data. This is just review of what you learned in class. And the number conversion is also going to be just practice problems, and we're going to be covering over the next few weeks about number conversions because that is going to be on your exam. Okay, so for computer data, this is going to be how is data stored in the computer memory. So it's going to be captured by the binary system, which is zeros and ones. And each 0 or 1 is called a bit. So you should know that. And the bits are grouped together into bytes. So a byte will have 8 bits exactly. And those unique combinations of zeros and ones tell the computer the instructions of what should be done. So because that has to be the simplest way the computer can understand, but it's very confusing when it comes to humans because you can easily mess up the order of zeros and ones. So what we do is we convert it from the binary system to either the decimal system or the hexadecimal system. So I do have a game here. You can try it out if you want. It's just like how the binary system works. It's really easy. Just make sure this is muted. Okay. So what you do is you just drag and slide the bits to match the numbers on this board, and each level it's going to change the numbers up. So we have these numbers and these tiles 4, 2, 1. So what we're going to do is, let's say we want to find the number 5. Then we're going to match these binaries, a 3-bit binary code with this 4, 2, 1. So to make the number 5, you need a 4 and a 1, because 4 plus 1 is 5. So you're going to have a 1 here, a 0 here, and a 1 there. So look for a 1, 0, 1. It could be anywhere, vertical, horizontal, up, down, either way. If you want just a 1, then you could just be 0, 0, 1, something like that. And then if you want a 4, we already have a 4, so put 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, a 2. 0, 1, 0 should work. And then a 6. For a 6, you can do a 4 plus 2. So 1, 1, 0. Okay. And then you can just go to higher and higher next levels. It's up to you if you want to play the game. It's just something fun. Okay. So now we're going to move on to some practice questions. Let me just move this over. Okay. So we're going to convert the binary number to hexadecimal using this number conversion table. So here we have the binary numbers, the decimals, which are base 10, hexadecimal, which are base 16. So this should be just practice of what you have been learning in class. There are also more practice questions on Canvas in the resources section. So you can go ahead and find that. So pause the video, try to work on the first question, converting this binary number to hexadecimal. And unpause it when you're ready. Okay, so I'm assuming you gave it a shot. So now let's try to see this. So we already have the binary, and we see that each binary has about 4 bits. So let's separate this 8-bit numeral into 4 bits. So 0, 1, 0, 1. Let's find that. So here it is. Okay, so the decimal conversion is 5, or the decimal equivalent is 5. And the hexadecimal equivalent is also 5. And since we're finding the hexadecimal, we're just going to note the number 5, okay? Now if you look at the last 4 bits, 1, 0, 1, 0, that is over here. Decimal equivalent is 10, hexadecimal equivalent is A. So if you look at over here, the hexadecimal equivalent, once it starts to get into the double digits, it changes to letters. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. So just make sure you know this table, at least the binary and decimal. Hexadecimal won't be tested, but it's just good to know. So since you got A for the second part, it's going to be 5A is the answer. So there should be an explanation. So you can read that if you're still a little bit confused. Now, take a couple minutes to work on the second question. Okay, assuming you paused the video and tried it, give it a shot. We're going to convert the hexadecimal B8 to binary. So for B8, where is B? B is over here. The binary equivalent is 1011. So make a note of that. And the 8 in the hexadecimal column is equal to 1000. Put those both 4 bits together, you get an 8-bit byte. I know that sounds weird, but 1 byte is 8 bits. And that would be the binary equivalent of B8. So make sure you just keep on practicing these binary to decimal, to hexadecimal, and every other way possible. You can find more practice on Canvas. Okay, so now we're going to move into HTML, but before we do that, we're going to make sure we have some type of IDE or text editor. So this is where you're going to be writing your code, and it's important to have a professionally developed IDE or text editor, because you want the code to be color coded, and you want like autocomplete features, everything that will make your life easier, because it's really easy to get messed up and miss things when you're programming. So I recommend Sublime Text, especially if you're on a Mac or Windows. Visual Studio Code is an IDE that works as well. Brackets and Atom, it's up to you if you want to try those. Notepad++, that is specifically only available on the Rutgers Computer Lab. So if that's where you're working, if you don't have access to a different computer, then you should know that you're going to be using that. And that is not available on anywhere else. So I'm going to be using Sublime Text, so if you have Mac or Windows, feel free to download that and get started. So we're going to do a basic HTML document. So let's just move this over. Okay. So in this basic HTML document, we first want to get Sublime Text Editor ready. So we're going to go down here, we're going to click Sublime. Okay, ignore what you see right now. So once you open Sublime, you're going to go to File, New File. And you're going to get this untitled blank file. Now, before we do anything, we want to tell the text editor that we're going to be writing in HTML code. So to do that, we need to save the file in HTML. So we're going to press Command S, or you can just go to File and then Save As. And once you get here, you're going to title it My First HTML Doc, or let's do My Sample. So I already have one called My Sample 1. Let's just do My Sample 2, or you can name it whatever you want. But you really need is the .html ending. And you can just, if you have a CS170 folder, save it in there, just makes it easier. I am going to be posting the finished version of the HTML code that we do write in here. That's going to be posted in the my section of the recitations resources. Okay, so now that we have that saved, we're just going to press Command S, make sure everything's saved. Every once in a while, make sure you're saving it. It should auto-save, but just in case. And to view this HTML code that we're going to write soon, you're going to click with 2 fingers on a Mac, or double-click if you're on Windows. Or you can press Open in Browser. And it should take you to your Chrome, and it should have a name called mysample2.html and blank document, because we didn't put any code yet. Okay. So hopefully you have that all ready. Now, just... Okay. So this code you see here is what we're going to be typing in. That's the first thing you want to write in your HTML document. This code is basically, the first line is going to be telling that this doc type is an HTML5 document, and you have an HTML tag. So a tag is what structures the document. So you have a head or a header and the body tag. And you can notice how each tag is repeated twice, but a little bit different. So if you see it's a slash, that's the closing tag. So this is opening, closing, opening, closing. And the HTML is bounded on the outside. So opening, closing. Now this one doesn't need a closing because that's just telling Sublime Text we're writing in HTML. So let's start writing that. So there are going to be a lot of shortcuts that you're going to see with Sublime Text if that's what you're using. You can see our HTML tag is already popping up, and that should be good because that makes your life so much easier. We have our header tag. Make sure you close every tag, or else your information is, or content is not going to be displayed properly. And make sure that all of your code is equally spaced, neatly spaced. You don't want everything on one single line. That's going to make you go crazy, especially if someone's trying to help you or read your code. Okay, so now that we have that, just press save again. Nothing's going to pop up. Nothing's going to change here because that's just the structure of the code. We didn't actually add content to it. Okay, so now let's go to the next slide. Now we're adding about 4 lines here. Line 5, 6, 7, and line 11. This is called the hello world part of our programming phase. So if you haven't done this already with your professor in class or in lecture, then we're going to do it here. So there's 3 lines we're focusing on. This meta charset line, the comment line, title line, and this p tag. Meta charset is equal to UTF-8. So this is just a line you're going to see almost everywhere on every HTML document. It's just telling the document that you are going to be having metadata displayed. There's nothing you have to worry about it. Just have it in your header. Okay, let's just add that. Meta charset is equal to UTF-8. Okay, next one is the comment. So a comment is whenever you're writing just a side note on your code. Let's say I need to fix this mistake. I need to add in a heading for the title. Delete this line later because you don't want to delete it right now. You can always add in a comment, and then the notation you do after it is when it's going to tell the computer, don't worry about this line. This is not for you, it's for me. Don't do anything with it. So it's completely ignored, but it's still there so you can see it. So whenever you write comments, this is a comment, you can just write it. And the shortcut way is on Macs is to press Command \. And that should bring up the arrow or the lesson sign, exclamation point, dash dash, and the dash dash greater than sign. You can manually do it or just do the shortcut. Okay, once you do that, then we're going to move on to the title tag and the p tag. So the title tag is what's going to name your tab. So we're going to name it My First Web Page because that is most likely your first web page in this class. And in the body tag, you're going to write your hello world with a p tag. So P stands for paragraph, and that just means any text that you usually write, like text that is not like a title or a header or something important, just like random text that you have that is not formatted, you're going to put in a p tag. And hello world, we're just writing that because that is usually the unspoken rule of programming. The first thing you run on when you're learning a new programming language is called hello world. It's just the unspoken rule, so we're just going to go with it. Okay, so when you save this, we're going to go to our web page. Right now you don't see anything because you have to refresh it. Once you refresh, you should see the title of the tab should be changed from the mysample2.html. It should be now My First Web Page, and now it should say hello world. So this is what is being displayed. Just in case you can't see, I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so that should be that, and this is what our code looks like so far. Next, we're going to go on something a little bit more complicated, but still easy. So now we're going to have this poem. So I'm not sure if you know, it's a poem by Edgar Allan Poe called The Raven. You don't have to write this all out. You could just simply search up The Raven and copy the first paragraph, which is what I'm going to do. And we're going to talk about another tag. So let's search up The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. Just copy this first paragraph, and in the body tag we're gonna put in a p tag saying we're gonna title the tag called The Raven, and then we're gonna put a pre tag. So what is a pre tag? Pre tag stands for pre-formatted. So usually when you're working with things like poetry or something in a document that has to be within a certain guidelines in terms of font, spacing, you can have this pre-formatted tag, which can make your life easier. And then you just copy paste inside the tag, press save. If we did everything properly, it should show up after refresh. There it is. So that is the Raven. All this does, it just pre-formats the text. Usually when it's associated with poetry or any literature type of thing. Okay. Now we're going into lists. So we have a couple different types of lists. We have unordered list, ordered lists, nested lists, ordered nested lists. It's also kind of confusing. But it's really easy, just take it part by part. So ignore this side of the screen. We're only focusing on this side of the screen. So if you see this UL tag, opening, closing, UL stands for unordered list. And this LI tag stands for just a list item. So what exactly are you listing? That's what you're going to put in these LI tags. Okay, so let's just put that into our text editor. So we're still going to be in the body. We're just going to make some space. And we're going to put a U. So too far off. So it's a good idea to separate it from what you were working on before. So you put in a UL tag, you close it. UL stands for unordered. And then you put in a list tag. So because we're going to have like a bunch of list tags, I just suggest copy pasting a couple. And then we're going to have coffee, tea, and then milk. Okay. Save. Now let's see how this pops up over here. Coffee, tea, milk. So unordered, as you can see, because it's bullet points. For ordered, you're going to have numbering. So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, like on a Google Doc when you press ordered. Okay, so let's try that. But what we're going to do is something different. We're going to do a nested ordered list. Nested means it's something within something. So a nested list would mean a list within a list. So here we already have an unordered list. We're going to make an ordered list within this unordered list. So let's say we want to do different types of teas. We're going to go to this tea list item, press enter, make an ordered list. That's what OL stands for. And just have it spaced out a little bit nicer. So this tab meaning it's under it. And in that, we're going to have some list items. Okay. So let's say for teas, we have a green tea and a black tea. Let's press save and let's see how this shows up. Okay, so it's nested inside of this unordered list because that's why it's tabbed over, and then it has its numerals because it's now an ordered list. So hopefully that is not too confusing, but that is how we work with lists. Next, we're going to move on to tables. So the tables, it does require a little bit more code, but it's still the very simple way because all the tags that you see are going to be very simple and self-explanatory, really. So let's look at the couple different new tags that we haven't seen before. H3. This H3 tag at the top, that stands for header. And we're going to talk about what this number means afterwards. Table. Whenever you're making a table, you just want to have a table tag. And it's going to open and then close at the end whenever all of your table contents end. The caption tag. What is this table about? That's going to be, it's like the title. Caption, title, and that's going to be the same thing here. TR stands for table row. You can also have a table column. And you have a table head. So this is what, in each row, this is what you're naming, city and population. And then you can have more rows with the actual content. So you can have this New York City, 8 million. LA, 13 million. Chicago, 2 million. And once you populate all the rows, then you close all the tags and you close the table. So let's try that. So again, make some space, scroll down so all your code is neat. Hopefully you are doing this along with me, not just watching me. So I'm going to put an H3 tag. This is a table. Okay. And then we're going to put a table tag. And we're going to write the border is 1. We're going to talk about the border thing a little bit later as well. Inside that, we're going to have a caption. In this caption, we're going to say major cities and population. Oh. Okay, good. I can spell. And then we're going to have the table heads. So TH stands for table head. Close the tag. And inside the table head, I meant table row. Table row. Then you're going to have table head. Okay. Each table head, we're going to name it. So first one's going to be city. Next one's going to be population. Okay. Now, you can see a lot of this code repeats, so you can just simply copy paste. When you do, just make sure it's correctly formatted. So for the next one, we're going to name the cities. NYC, I think we said 8 million. Next one, LA, 13 million. And then Chicago, 2 million. Okay. So, now should be the same as the slides. Actually, it's not. Is there something wrong? Yes, there is. So before I fix it, someone just pause and try to figure out what's wrong. I'll give you a second. Okay, so what's wrong is all of them are labeled TH, as in table header. We don't want 8 table headers, we want content in it too. So these TH tags have to be relabeled to TD tags, which means table data, because this is the data that we're adding in. So this also happens when you're copy pasting sometimes, that you probably sometimes copy paste the wrong tags. And even though it's just one letter, it's going to mess up your code a lot. Okay, so hopefully now that should be good. So let's press save. Let's go to our web page and refresh. Okay, so here's our table. You have the H3 tag, the heading tag, the caption, and our table. So as you can see, it's populated, it's very neat. Now let's start with this H3 tag. H3, the H stands for heading, the 3 stands for the size. You can go from H1 to H6. So let's say we put an H6. H6, you want to look like this, very small. You put H1, it's going to be the biggest header you're going to get. Huge. Okay. And then the other one we were talking about was the border is equal to 1. So that's just telling you the size of the border. So let's say we change it to 10. As you can see, the border is definitely much bigger. Let's say you change it to 100. It's going to be unnecessarily huge now. Okay, so obviously if you really wanted your table to look like that, you can make it look like that, but you also want to consider your spacing when you're making your web page. You don't need it to be that huge, so let's just keep it at 1. And that is all the code that we're going to go over for now in terms of HTML. So hopefully you understood everything. The attendance secret code is going to be carrot, as in C-A-R-R-O-T, like the vegetable. So you should be good on your attendance form, so please fill that out. And if you have any questions, let me know in the Google form or feel free to email me. That's it. Have a good day. Bye.